This is a collaborative work. We compared community composition in artificial substrate units from the Red Sea to the Baltic Sea. Abigail Carroll did most of the morphological identifications, experiments with metabarcoding and statistics, and John Perman did the pipeline, the bioinformatic pipeline and analysis. So the goal is to set up methods for biodiversity monitoring that are repeatable in the long term, which implies two things: to standardize the sampling methods and to find a method to determine community composition which is depending as little as possible on an expert knowledge, as has been said previously by my colleagues. So we use the sampling device ASU here, to be compared with the arms, because we put them at exactly the same places in the near future. And we use two methods to assess community composition: a traditional morphological identification and metabarcoding. So what is metabarcoding? You do that on an environmental sample, which is a mixture of living organisms. You use a barcoding molecule, which is a DNA region, which is variable enough so that each species has its own DNA sequence. So two molecules are well known and they have huge reference databases. Once you obtain your DNA sequences for a barcoding molecule, you can eventually assign a taxon name if it is in the reference database. If it is not, it's not that important, according to me. You can just use a molecular taxon, and you can infer phylogenetic diversity, for instance, which is more interesting than taxonomic diversity in general. So what we did for visual identification, we just used the dissecting microscope and a few space, not a lot of space in the lab, and we identified, we sorted the animals by classes of squacoids, polypes, bivalves, brachiosaurs, and we just did that by class level, not a final one. It is very simple, so it is reliable. The same person could do that, but she needs to be able to distinguish an ostracod from a mouse, which may be difficult. And it is a quantitative method. We obtain specimen counts and weights. For the metabarcoding, we do DNA extraction and high fidelity PCR amplification. We send that for sequencing to the industry. Then we use the data in the bioinformatic pipeline, recover species composition, and to perform statistics on community composition. This method, because it's based on PCR, is not reliable for the relative frequency of taxa. It gives the relative frequency, but it's not reliable, unfortunately, by contrast with the morphological method. Okay. So the ASU were located in 7 seas. For the English channel, we did not do the molecular analysis, but for the other ones, we did. And we had 3 locations per sea, about 10 to 40 kilometers apart. So you can see the seas. And in each location, we had 3 arms, very close one another, as you can see here. They remained underwater for a year to a year and a half at 17 meters depth. Some of them were lost, so you need to fix them well if you want to recover 9 ASU per sea. So the results, we obtained a minimum of 120 specimens per ASU and a maximum of 10,000 specimens. Some taxa were poorly recovered in molecular U2, despite they were abundant. These are false negatives, but we also had some false positives, which are PCR contaminations. So the morphological data, I represent here the different seas horizontally. Each dot is 1 ASU, and I represented here the number of specimens and the mass. So for instance, Red Sea and Darfoflines have a low specimen numbers and low mass, biomass, and the Black Sea, by contrast, has the highest values for specimen numbers and for specimen biomasses. You have significant differences among seas and also very deep within sea. So then we compare molecular and morphological results in the next slide. So in that slide, I illustrate the Simpson's diversity index. Up it's for morphology, and down it's for metabarcoding. So in that case, the maximum diversity is observed in the Gulf of Lion, and the minimum one in the Black Sea. And the results are very, very comparable between morphology and molecular data, metabarcoding. Here it's clustering analysis, multidimensional scaling, that illustrates that we distinguish very well the different Cs, and even better with the metabarcoding than with the morphology. Okay, so the main outcomes of that study is that morphological identification at the class level was easily and reliably done by a single person for very different environments. That metabarcoding does not mimic traditional taxonomy, but provides comparable results and higher discriminations. And importantly, the two methods are very complementary. Metabarcoding does not require any expertise in taxonomy, but is not reliable for quantitativeness. It's very reliable in the opposite for morphological data. But the possibility of upscaling is excellent for metabarcoding, whereas very bad for morphological data. I want to insist that in future we can improve that quantitativeness for PCR, for metabarcoding, but it will never reach the reliability of morphology. So the main challenges for the future are to assess natural variability of community composition, which is to separate the noise from the signal, and to relate the variations in community composition with the pressures or with environmental changes. For this, we need to analyze many more ASUs within each sea, more locations, etc. And I insist that I think in future we could use high-frequency monitoring by using just metabarcoding, and at low frequency make a validation with morphology. Or when we observe a change in metabarcoding, make the validation with morphology. Thank you very much.